Well, howdy, friends and floorheads. We are back for episode 4 of Mothership. And we left things in a pretty interesting spot. Unfortunately, Bex is pretty badly hurt. Only one wound remaining and only 8 health left on that wound. There's been a lot of planning as far as what are we going to do. And I think where we left off is our 4 crew members have decided we need to get Bex to Emma in VR, and hopefully Dr. Emma will be able to help Bex and heal them. So we literally had everybody do something that I'm not sure everybody felt comfortable doing, and that is putting back on their VR headsets, logging back into VR, and we cut to credits as that happened. So when we start play, we are going to be back in VR. Lots of questions to get answered here. First off, I don't think we have a sense of what's really going on. We are slowly learning about these 2 different realities. We don't have a sense of what happened, how we got here. There's theories being thrown around that Captain Luke is pretty suspect. I get a sense that the good doctor has Luke as number 1 suspect as far as all of this. And of course, we have Vonnie that keeps popping up during the VR logins. So what we're going to do is we are going to run opening titles, and then we're going to play to find out. See you on the other side.
Brave viewers, what you're about to witness is not for the faint of heart. This video features adults immersed in a spine-chilling horror RPG experience. The content likely includes supernatural elements, horror-related events, and potentially scenes of violence. Fear not, for the players have set in place safety tools and discussed the boundaries of their journey into the unknown. But brace yourself, for the shadows hold secrets that may haunt your dreams. Proceed with caution. You have been warned. Viewer discretion is advised. Enjoy.
So the headsets come back on. Takes a second or 2 for your mind to adjust. And suddenly you're looking at the same space, the same doors, the same walls, but everything is once again pristine. The air smells fresh, perfect temperature. Everybody add or reduce your stress by 2. And Bex, you are still lying on the floor, but you don't feel any pain. And you kind of move a little bit maybe in light of that fact that you don't feel that awful gunshot wound to your stomach. And you just feel restricted, right? So you realize you really can't move, much like how it was outside before you logged in, but you don't feel that. You don't feel that awful sharp pains that you had in your stomach. Thank God that Eeyore was able to kind of patch you up, stop the bleeding, and literally save your life. But you do feel still incapacitated. You just don't have the pain to deal with the way you did before.
Well, that's a definite improvement.
But all four of you are you're there and you're looking at each other.
Do we see Bex's wound at all?
Nope.
We should get Bex onto something with wheels so that we can get over to Dr. Emma.
There should be a cart around here somewhere.
Yeah, I think let's I think that you can pretty easily find a cart with some equipment on it, clear off that cart. We'll be able to put Bex on this cart. Bex, I think your legs, would hang over, but getting your main torso and keeping you somewhat immobilized. I think with some TLC and with Sergeant Robles's military medical background and everything, I think I'm good with that. So we can get you on a cart.
Right. So are we still off to Dr. Emma?
That should be the first stop. We'll have to get on the elevator. I could take the stairs and meet you down there.
I'm just gonna lay here and bask in my pain-free existence right now. In this air, this temperature.
Craig, I'd like to put an alarm for 2 hours and 45 minutes in my head.
Yeah, sure, done.
And on my little wristwatch.
2 hours and 45 minutes, starting now.
Okay.
Sweet. Let's push her to the elevator.
Yep.
So as soon as you get close to the door, it slides open for you. No manual opening of doors needed. The hallway's out there. You push out to the hallway and start rolling Bex towards the elevator. A young man, Robbie, comes up and goes, Sarge, is everything okay?
Don't worry, precious cargo.
We just need to get Bex to Dr. Emma. It's no big deal. She's just having a hard time walking on her own.
Oh my goodness. If you'd like, I can run ahead, make sure that Dr. Emma's ready for you.
Oh, that would be excellent. Thank you.
And gives a little bit of a salute and runs to the elevator, opens it for you, and kind of presses the button to hold the elevator. And then he immediately goes to the stairs and starts heading that way. If there's anything you want to do, let me know. Otherwise, I'll take us right to medbay.
No rush, no hurry.
I don't think there's anything.
And you're getting some looks from different crew members as you are wheeling Bex on a cart down the hallways. But you get to medbay, and as soon as you get in front of the door, it slides open. It's a state-of-the-art medical bay. Dr. Emma has one of the Robbies there, and seems to be, checking her vitals. And she turns and she goes, yeah, no, come in. Is that what's happening? Is everything okay?
Not exactly.
Yeah, it turns out that Bex has a pain in her gut. We were wondering if you would be able to check that out.
No, of course. And she motions you to one of the beds. It's state-of-the-art bed, high up on a pedestal. It's got all kinds of electronics. Above it, you can see all vitals would be displayed normally up on there. And she's, yeah, I'll be right there. I'll be right there. Let me finish up here. If you just, and be careful, but if you can move them to the bed, I can do a checkup. So go ahead, Bex.
I am ready to be carried.
Bex was just faking this, so because Bex was tired of walking. So Dr. Emma comes over, and the four of you, I feel like, are reminded almost immediately. She has this aura of care. You just feel better being around her. She always appears not only hyper competent at what she does, but is truly a caregiver. And she puts a couple sensors on you, Bex, and pulls out some sort of handheld machine, one that none of you have ever seen before, and it seems to be running it over your entire torso. And as that's happening, there's all kinds of readouts on the display that's behind the bed, and she's looking at it, and she pauses for just a moment and turns to you, Dr. Brundle, and says, "Now, Seth, I haven't forgotten about our appointment. You still need a checkup."
I can stay this time,
Okay.
but please tend to Bex first.
No, yeah, and
What's have you found out what's wrong?
well, as the readouts are coming up, she goes, "This is very odd. Bex, you seem to have a tremendous amount of trauma, internal trauma." And, she's pulled, I guess, opened your jumpsuit and pulled up your undershirt and, is looking at your stomach. She goes, "I don't see any external wounds. But what exactly happened?"
Well, internal trauma, I blame it on my father.
And she laughs. She goes, "No, Bex, I'm talking about what I'm getting on the readouts. What happened? It looks like you've had tremendous trauma to your gut. I see some tearing. It looks like there doesn't seem to be that much internal bleeding, but I do think we're going to need to maybe cut you open and take a look."
Does the reason matter as much as fixing them?
Well, no, but it helps me in my diagnosis, Eeyore.
They got into a bet with a Robbie in a gut punching contest.
I did not win.
Oh,
Really.
that seems like a terrible idea.
I often have those. You should see the other guy, though. No, he's fine. Don't worry about who it was. I don't want to get anyone in trouble.
I mean, it might take me an hour. I can just open you up, kind of fix you up pretty good. So maybe, and she turns to the three of you that are not lying down there. You're all lying, but Bex is lying on the on the bed. And she goes, we'll need some privacy, obviously, but if you want to come back in an hour, I expect Bex will be out of anesthesia and feeling a whole lot better.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's
Dr.
an
Emma.
hour.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on that hour. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
59 minutes and 2 seconds.
So she has kind of a mask that she puts over your face, Bex, and you just slowly fall asleep. She kicks the three of you out, though. So you're back outside of Medbay. So you're on floor 1, engineering 2.
Okay, gang. What do we want to do in this hour?
It may be a good idea to check to see if we could potentially have an escape plan. We may not be able to stop that countdown, but maybe we can get off of the ship in reality.
Okay. And how are we going to do that?
Well, we have the ship dock and the shuttle
Mhm.
bay, so we could check to see if there's if a shuttle or a ship that is working that may be something that we wish we had Bex for.
Absolutely. We can scope that out.
At least see if it's a viable idea.
Exactly.
There's also the fact that there's other people in reality on this ship that I don't think are a part of what's going on here that are like us.
That's true. That's true. And we need to remind ourselves of time is of the essence, and those data ghosts are not ghosts. So do we
So-
want to go to the ship dock first?
It's close by.
All right, so sounds like we're headed to the ship dock. So floor one engineering, you guys head over to the ship dock. Again, just if it was 5, 6, well, it's gonna be about 8 hours ago, everything felt normal. This would feel very normal. Crew members are moving out throughout the hallways. This is a lot nicer than where you were before. A lot nicer. I don't know. Apparently, Dr. Bundle logged off. We'll look forward to it. Oh, there he is. Okay.
Took his
We thought
headset off.
You logged off on us there, Doc.
Sorry, everything froze.
That's all right. It's good to have you back.
It's refreshed.
Yep. So you get to the ship dock, and you have to go through security in order to get to the ship dock. Because Sergeant Robles is with you, no issues whatsoever. You walk through security and you get to the ship dock, and it is a large area, big enough to handle really medium-sized cargo ships are able to dock here. There's 3 ships that are currently docked there. One of them has an emblem on the side of it, and it matches the patch that you had on your jumpsuits out of VR. And it says the Starlance Valkyrie.
Okay. How much trouble was it? How many security folk? How difficult is it to get through security? What are we looking at?
So you guys had no trouble. So you were able to go through security because everybody reports up to you, Sergeant Robles. So you go in, nobody even questions you. Doors are opened and you're allowed in. So you're standing now inside of this ship bay. 2 smaller ships, and then this Starlance Valkyrie is there. And ceilings are probably good 50, 60 foot. This is a huge area. Looks like there's a fueling pipe going into the Valkyrie, and the ramp is open.
Okay.
Could go inside.
Yeah, I suggest we go in away from the Robbies, and this, if the area is clear, take off our VR just for a second to see what the status of the ship looks like.
So the three of you get to the bottom of the ramp, and there is a Robbie at the top of the ramp just inside the ship. Young man, Sarge, is there an inspection or?
Yes, this is an inspection.
So, and I know you already know this, but Captain Luke said that only he should have access to the ships.
Oh, Captain Luke told us that we had access to our ship.
This is your ship, ma'am?
Is it not?
No, ma'am. No, you were dropped off.
Oh, who were we dropped off by?
Sarge, are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine. You are failing my Inquisition.
Yeah, you were dropped off. I don't know, a few months ago, a couple weeks, I guess. I can't remember exactly. And you went through orientation, and I think your contract is. I think you told me you were on a 1-year contract.
That's better. And your name again, sir?
And he's got a look on his face, like he goes, Wilson, ma'am.
Okay, I'm going to remember you, Wilson.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Okay. I do think I want to check, and I think I'm going to want a straight intellect, but I do want you to apply your military skill, because I think it is your military background that's allowing you to be as convincing as you are.
Okay. Yeah. Well, nothing seems to be working.
Ooh, that's not good. You want to do a quick refresh of your of the browser that you have the VTT on, and maybe it'll come up.
Okay.
Regardless of the result of this roll, the Robbie goes down the ramp. It gives you full access.
Okay. So y'all can investigate while I try to figure out what's going on with my VTT.
So Dr. Brundle and Eeyore, we're heading up the ramp. Did the whole thing crash out? Or hold on here. Let's just see. I'm going to see if I can roll for you. I can. Let's see if I have any issue with that there. I just rolled for you. It's a critical failure, which we're not going to keep. That seems really unfair. And your stress will go down to 16 because that's automatic. But yeah, it seems to be working for me if you just give it a quick refresh.
Okay, so we're doing military training.
Yep.
And at an advantage.
Nope, not at an advantage. Just a regular roll. Yep.
Okay.
Interesting. The exact opposite of what I rolled. You rolled a critical success. So on a success, reason I was having you roll this is whether Robbie Wilson was going to basically notify Luke. On a success, I was not going to have that happen, but on a critical success, he clears out the security room as well and says, the Sarge is in there. I don't know. There's some sort of top secret, some sort of inspection. She's in a mood. So I think we need to just kind of leave her. So that's what I'll do for the critical. Is like you now have full access to the security with no eyeballs and full access to the ship bay right now.
Nice.
So well done. Yeah.
Okay, what do we want to look at first?
We should. Well, none of us are well suited for this.
Okay, since everybody is gone, there's nobody here. This seems like a very safe time to take off our VR headsets to see what happens.
Okay. Should all of us take them off right now, though? Or should we keep someone in just in case?
We
I've
probably
done it
should
before,
keep
so I'll
someone-
stay.
You'll stay in?
Okay.
Okay. Are we gonna Rochambeau this? Eeyore? Who goes first?
I can go first.
Okay.
So
I can stay out here and make sure, like, just to see if anyone's coming, because if you guys want to take off your stuff and check out what's really in the ship.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I think that keep in mind that when we take off these headsets, you are become data ghosts in VR, right?
Yeah.
So
And
I
can't
don't
communicate.
exactly. So I don't think that is a terrible idea at all. So you take off your headset, Eeyore, and the first thing we're going to need a sanity check.
Okay.
Okay, so on a failed sanity, what happens here? I'm trying to remember. Go ahead and add 4 stress for me.
Whew.
Where does that put your stress, out of curiosity?
19.
Oh boy.
Your is stressed.
Yeah, and on a panic check, you're using a D20 and trying to roll over that. So that is, okay. The other thing I do need is a body save as well.
Okay. Oh, so close.
That was close. Let's go ahead and I'm going to roll a D4. All right. So take 2 damage from your health for me. And what this is, Eeyore, is this transition back to not feeling great, right? So whatever, it's not pain necessarily for you, but just reduced functionality that you've had just immediately comes back, and it's physically traumatic for you. And you are inside of this ship. So just like when you take that off and you're in one of the rooms of Mergen's Watch, structurally everything is the same. You see the Sarge and you see the doctor standing there with their headsets on. They seem oblivious to you now. Looks like they might be talking to each other, but they're not. They're just turned facing each other. You don't, and you maybe see their mouths moving, but you're not hearing. They're not making any noise in that process. And somebody or some group has been dismantling this ship. So all the panels are off. There's it would be great if Bex was here. There's wires that are loose that look like they used to be connected to things that are no longer in this ship. So the entire front paneling, all the comms and everything in this ship, it just it looks like being dismantled for parts.
Scavengers.
So Dr. Brundle, you were going to stay in VR. Sarge, were you going to hop out of VR, or was it just Eeyore?
I will, because I said I would.
Okay, let's go ahead and you know the routine. So let's avoid stress by making a sanity save.
Okay, sanity is under.
It'll be one of your saves in the upper right-hand corner. So if you go to skills, and you're going to see sanity is in the black box.
Yes.
If you click on sanity, you're whopping 17.
No.
Yeah, so go ahead and add 4 stress. Where does that put you?
You don't want to know. That puts me at 21.
21 stress. Dolam in the chat has a good question, which I will answer here in just a moment. Let's quickly do a body save as well, if we could, Sergeant Robles.
Okay. Well, I just did. Okay, here we go. Can I use athletics to this? Okay.
Okay, so let's have you also take 4 damage for me. Where does that put your health?
Am I going down or up?
You're going down.
That's what I was afraid of. That would make me at a -2.
Okay, so a couple things are going to happen here. Just go to 0. This will not cause a wound. So, but you have 0 health right now. Next damage you take is going to immediately cause a wound.
Okay.
And again, same situation. You just feel all the pain, the aches, and everything just come back. And you look around and you see exactly what I described to Eeyore. This place is just an absolute wreck.
Okay. Eeyore, is there anything you can do to fix this in 30 minutes?
No, this is definitely something that Bex would be better suited at. This ship has been completely scavenged for parts.
Is there anything in here that you see that we can... No, we can't take anything with us into VR.
If I walk outside of this ship, there were other ships that were in this dock as well. Are they also the same?
Oh, one more time. I'm sorry. I was reading something. Would you ask? I apologize.
Are there other ships in this
Same.
area too? Who walk
Yeah, the
out
other
this
2
ship?
ships are in the bay.
Are they
Yeah.
the same thing? They've been.
I think you'd have to go and check. But I will tell you, like, if you look now down the ramp from inside the Valkyrie leading back into the bay, you are seeing scattered all over the floor, which you did not see in VR, just parts. So it looks like definitely the Valkyrie has been dismantled or is being dismantled, and I think you might suspect the other 2 are in similar condition. So very quickly, we had a question in the chat, which is, how do we lower stress? So there's a few things. One is the more time you spend in VR, the more your stress will drop over time. We also know that there are concerns about staying inside of VR. If you are to stay over 3 hours, I'm going to drop your stress down to 2. But you will forget about reality at that point. There's also stim packs that can be found probably maybe in med bay, and these are a dangerous drug, typically used for military. They can help heal your health and lower your stress, but you have to be careful about how often you use them, because overdosing on them can cause big problems as well. I think it'll be a little difficult for you to lower your stress outside of VR. I think the reality is just not conducive to lowering your stress, but those are ways you can lower your stress. I want to talk about looking around the ship a little bit. So Eeyore, as you and Sergeant Robles kind of look around the ship, any like personal items you find, you can definitely tell where crew would stay, which you assume might be you. But like even the beds, the bunks inside of the crew quarters of the ship have been pulled out and broken down into pieces. You're noticing that it's mostly what appears to be some core electronics is what appears to be scavenged. So you see panels opened, and even though you're not mechanics, you're used to seeing CPU slots and motherboards and stuff that are in there, and they're all gone as you're walking through. You do find something odd, though. You find a large sack that's about half as tall as you, and it's made of burlap, and it's tied with a rope around the top of it.
I poke the bag to see if it's firm or soft.
So it's full and seems to maybe be filled with trash or something. Nothing hard. It's very easy to pick up. So it's whatever's in there is not heavy. The only weight it has is the fact that whatever it's got enough of it's full. So it takes two hands to lift.
Okay. Does it smell any way? Smells
like burlap.
Smells like burlap. Okay. I'm gonna untie the sucker and dump it out.
And what you dump out all over the floor are a bunch of envelopes. And they seem to be addressed to multiple different people. The addresses appear to be from all over the galaxy, the known galaxy. Every single one of them has been torn open, and whatever was in these envelopes are gone.
Okay. So now we have a mess on top of a mess with more of a mystery.
Dr. Brundle, back in VR, you're watching these data ghosts kind of float throughout the inside of the Valkyrie. And nobody seems to be bothering you. You've got the ship bay to yourself. Is there anything that you want to do while they're exploring?
Yeah, I mean, certainly. I think I'll get slightly distracted. This is important, but I mean, there's stuff to look at here. So, or presumably, if there is something interesting, I will tend towards it. And if there's papers or a terminal or.
Oh yeah, there's terminals in every one of these. Every room will have some sort of terminal that allows you to connect to the ship. Do you want to go to a terminal?
Yeah, actually, I'd like to see what's going on with Bex.
Yeah. So you're not able to access Beck's information, but you could easily connect and open up a comm channel to Medbay if you'd like.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, just like to see what's happening.
So there's kind of a beep beep, beep beep. Dr. Emma.
Oh, it's Dr. Brundle. I'm just curious. I love to watch an expert do their work.
Oh, so I just closed her up. It is pretty mysterious. I have to tell you, Doc. It doesn't. I'm concerned that Bex isn't telling us the truth because the wounds I saw inside are not indicative of being punched. But I was able. Yes. I was able to kind of clean her up. She had some intestinal tears that I repaired, and she's in recovery. She's still under, but honestly, the things went a little bit faster than I expected. So if you want to come back, say in the next 15, 20 minutes, I think she'll be up. I would prefer her not to leave on her own. I would like maybe she could be taken to her quarters. And you know what? You don't need to come. I'll just have some Robbies take her to her quarters when she's kind of up and about. But I think she's well. And what you can do, Bex, is restore your health completely. Keep the wound, but I want you to restore your health completely. And I think it brings you up to 20. Is that correct?
Sure does.
Yeah, you have a pretty good health. But
Only
you're currently
I'm still alive.
Yeah, you were currently under still, though. Mm-hmm. Back out
I feel
of
like
VR.
there was...
Oh, go ahead.
Oh,
Doc.
sorry. I was just going to
Nope.
close it by saying I think there was definitely some shenanigans. I'll be right there.
Good. So I'll make sure that they don't leave until you get here, Doc. So back to the logged off world. Eeyore and Sergeant Robles. Just torn open envelopes all over the floor.
Do we recognize any of these addresses?
In the same way that if I put a stack of letters in front of you right now, you would recognize so-and-so street in Oregon, right? Like, so you're seeing planets and stations that you've heard of, but beyond that, nothing is registering.
Are they addressed to crew members?
They are addressed to people, but you don't recognize any names.
Okay. So evidently the crew of this ship, was a mail delivery service. It is in not good shape for us to leave anytime soon, even if we had Bex. I think we should get back into VR, or should we look at the other two ships while we can?
We can take a look at them. I'm concerned the level of... So much has been removed from this ship and from other areas of the ship that we've been on. A lot of electronics and metal. When we were in the life support, it was clear that there was several individuals living in that room in reality, hiding away. I wonder if they're the ones that have been scrapping around.
What would they be scrapping for to keep this station in orbit?
Maybe to delay that countdown. We know that there was someone that was able to get through the vent. Maybe we need to change gears and look for them, see if we can get some answers, see if we can help.
Yeah, for those that are watching, just a quick reminder, when we go back to episode 1, they were taken out of VR, at least Eeyore was taken out of VR for the very first time as they were surrounding two data ghosts. And when Eeyore came into reality and logged off from VR, we found the stun baton that obviously was used to zap Eeyore, to bring Eeyore out of VR. We also found a body that was partially being consumed by the 4 of them. In fact, Eeyore had that person's arm in their hand. But there was 2 data ghosts in VR and only 1 body found when they came out of VR. So that's, for those of you watching, a quick refresher of what Eeyore is talking about. As this conversation is happening, I'm going to try to narrate this in both VR and outside of VR. What Eeyore and Sergeant Robles hear is loud clanging. Ding, 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 and it's rhythmic. It sounds like footsteps, but it sounds like large metal just hitting the floor of the deck of this ship bay. You can't tell because of where you are in the ship what is happening outside, but you can hear this ding, ding, and the metal on metal clanging as that's happening. Now, Dr. Brundle, you have kind of stepped out. You're at the terminal, and you're startled a little bit. And you hear a voice says, Dr. Brundle, right? And you turn, and it's Paul, head of engineering.
Yes.
Um,
Paul. Yes.
Now, last we spoke, you were going to take care of some data ghosts. Is that correct?
Taken care of.
Oh, good. And did you check back in with the captain?
We haven't yet.
Oh, well,
We
You
were
definitely gonna
following
want
up some
to.
other leads.
so, and he kind of looks around to make sure no one else is here, and he goes, did Luke tell you that, like, this is a persistent problem?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, you're gonna want to check in with Luke when you get the chance. Why are you in ship dock?
We
And where's the rest of the team?
thought there was more data ghosts here.
Have you seen Data Ghost here?
No.
Okay, so
Realizing that there might be data ghosts somewhere in this area.
well, so Doctor, I'm a little confused. So you came here by yourself to take care of Data Ghosts? That's not.
Just to see if there was any here, and then call for backup. But I really need to get to the. Maybe you could help me. I need to get to the med bay. Bex had some injuries in our latest endeavors. So.
Oh, are they okay?
Yes, thanks to Dr. Emma. Some
Good.
mysterious injuries.
As Paul is talking to you, he's kind of casually almost walking backwards towards the Valkyrie. Still facing you, still engaged in conversation, but he seems to be heading towards the Valkyrie. And cutting back to Eeyore and Sergeant Robles real quick, these very heavy footsteps are getting louder.
We have got to put these VR headsets on now.
Okay.
All right. So in we go.
All right. So
I'm giving Paul the awkward shoulder. No, come help me. Not at all suspicious.
you get to the top of the main cargo area, which is where the ramp leads out of the Valkyrie back down. And just as you're putting the headsets on, you see a huge mechanical foot. And as you put the VR headset on, drop your stress by 2. You're back in this beautiful ship. And you see at the bottom of the ramp, Dr. Brundle, and he seems to be kind of awkwardly manipulating Paul. But where this very large mechanical foot was, almost robotic looking, is now just Paul. And he's kind of, it's not real touchy-feely with you, Dr. Brundle. He doesn't know what the hell you're trying to do. And he looks up and he goes, "Oh, Dr. Brundle, there's the Sarge. There's Eeyore. They're inside the ship.
Right.
Sergeant Robles and Eeyore, do you have data ghosts up there? Is everything okay?"
Everything is clear.
Dr. Brundle said that Bex was hurt.
Yes, she was. It was Bex being Bex.
And he just kind of nods like he knows exactly what you meant. but I mean, have we heard Dr. Emma? Did Dr. Emma?
Yes. I've spoken to Dr. Emma. Bex is is all closed up and ready to be taken back to their quarters for.
All closed up. Did Dr. Emma have to do surgery?
Well, I mean, I didn't see. Maybe.
Well,
so I hear.
And he kind of looks.
I'm not a doctor. I mean, I'm not that kind of doctor.
He looks at his watch and he goes over to the terminal and. Hold on 1 second. For some reason, I have lost visual on you. Oh, you're back. All right. He goes over to the terminal and you hear the deep beep, deep beep as a comms going on engineering 4. Yeah, look, it's Paul. I'm going to be a little bit late. We had a crew member that has been injured, and I just want to check in on her. So you guys cover for me, kind of finish up what you're doing there, and I should be there, probably in the next 20, 30 minutes. Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course, Paul. You hear on the comms. And he turns to the three of you and says, well, let's go check on Bex.
I feel like while he was at the comms, I'm trying to signal. I'm behind him, signaling the two of them, being like don't trust this guy. He's sus, but miming it badly. And he's Dr. Brundle's sweating profusely.
I would hate to take you away from your job, Paul. I mean, we can handle this on our own.
The safety of the crew is part of my responsibility too, especially somebody that's directly in engineering. Let's go.
Okay, let's go.
So Paul leads the way. Again, as I do a mini montage here, if there's something you want to do or say, let me know. Otherwise, I will take us back to Med Bay. Bex, you start to come to. You look down and you can see there's been a med pad that's covering your stomach. You feel a little nauseous, but you feel a lot better. Kind of the head fog trauma that you've been feeling is gone. You feel a certain degree of mobility as you kind of rock. And Dr. Emma's there, Dr. Brundle's there, Sergeant Robles, Eeyore, and Paul goes, Bex, what did you do?
Nothing.
Dr. Emma, can you give me, can she report back to work? What's her situation? Dr. Emma goes, Paul, I think I'm going to want Bex to have at least a few days to recover. She had some very severe internal wounds from a punching contest, as she looks at you as she says that. And she turns to you, Sergeant Robles. She goes, Sergeant, I think it's probably a good idea for you to track down what is happening here. I don't know if this is a Robbie thing, but we don't want crew members punching other crew members. And
I understand, Dr. Emma. This is my responsibility. If it was a Robbie, I will take care of it immediately.
Paul turns to everybody, including Dr. Emma, and says, can I get the room for a minute, please? Dr. Emma's like, no, of course, Paul. What do the other three of you say? Or the four of you?
Who do you want the room for?
I'd like to talk to Bex.
Or we could just go back to my quarters and it'd be great.
I think they need to rest, Paul.
I appreciate the advice, Eeyore, but give me the room, please. A little bit more insistent in his voice this time.
Yes, sir.
So Dr. Brundle's gonna shuffle over to the sergeant and be like, what if he finds out about Lena?
Oh. Do we even know about that? Yes, we do know about that still. Okay.
Did I know about? I hope I knew about that.
Yeah, we know about that. I don't know.
I don't trust leaving anyone alone with this guy.
You three are getting a very uncomfortable look from Paul at this point. He is obviously annoyed.
Okay. We will step on the other side of the curtain and give you guys privacy.
So you pull the curtain around. Oh, go ahead, Doc.
No, Doc. You want the room from us? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you close the curtain around, so it's just just Bex and Paul, and Paul grabs one of the rolling stools and pulls it under him and sits next to you, Bex. And what the hell is going on, Bex?
I don't know. I was hoping we'd have some scans to kind of confirm what was going on. Something I'm going to investigate.
Did you get injured by a data ghost? You're hiding something, I can tell. And I can tell by the doctor's tone that she doesn't believe that this is a punching contest. You don't get surgery from a punching contest.
Well, we have to keep it top secret. I don't think Dr. Emma is on the short list here. So, of course, we came up with a story.
So it was a data ghost?
We believe so, but we need confirmation.
Did you touch one? Or did one touch you?
I am unsure. It was. I was looking elsewhere, and walked into something, and then all of a sudden it was real bad. And fortunately, my team was there, and they got me down here as soon as possible. And we're gonna continue our mission for the cap. Yeah, but I think we have things well in hand. As long as you're keeping an eye on the things you can, we're gonna be just fine.
All right, so quick intellect check. I want to see just how smart we are here.
Piloting probably doesn't give me any help.
It doesn't, no, unfortunately. Damn. So you can tell in his body language he's nodding, and you see him kind of his face getting skeptical. And you're able to turn the corner, and that expression goes away. By all signs, it looks like he believes you. He's concerned, but he appears to be believing you. Well, here, Bex, let's sit up. Let me help you.
Oh, why, thank you.
And you sit up, and gently he kind of holds you, doesn't support you, just there in case you fall, and you're able to slide off the med bay bed, and you are standing on your own 2 feet.
I think it's time for some snacks.
He pulls the curtain and says, the assignment that we had for the 4 of you, I think that can wait. Can one of you take Bex back to their quarters, please?
Of course.
Paul goes over to Dr. Emma. They end up kind of in the corner of the med bay, and there's conversations happening, but you're not able to pick it up. The eye contact that Emma keeps making with the 4 of you indicates you might be the subject of this conversation, but it's not clear.
Can I try to read their body language? I may not be able to hear the
Oh,
verbal,
that's interesting.
but I am trained in linguistics, and 93% of the conversation is not the actual words you're speaking. So
I'm a huge fan of this. So let's do an intellect check.
Okay.
And do we have a skill we can apply?
I have linguistics, and I'm trained.
Let's add linguistics to it.
All right.
I put you up to a 71 intellect. That's great. So you can tell that Paul is interrogating Emma, and you can tell that Emma's doing her very best to answer his questions. You don't get a sense of what the questions are, but Emma's confused. Paul is trying to get answers from Emma, and it doesn't appear Emma has those answers. So as best as you can tell, they probably are discussing what the hell happened to Bex. So even though in space no one has HIPAA, nobody can hear your identity stolen. So yeah, it looks like, you know, Paul seems to be not angry but frustrated, and especially frustrated at Emma for not having the answers. And there's a lot of like Emma just kind of shrugging and trying to answer his questions.
I think we should head towards Bex's quarters to let them rest in privacy.
4 of you start to head out then. The conversation continues as the med bay door closes and you're in the hallway.
Should we leave Bex alone?
Why would you leave me alone?
Well, Eeyore seems to want to take you back to your quarters.
Well, I just want to get somewhere private,
Safe and private.
somewhere we can all speak
Yeah,
freely.
I need to know what happened while I was out.
Okay.
So let's
You probably ran into something you couldn't fix without me.
Indeed.
let's cut to Bex's quarters. You get there. It's a little tight for 4. This is, you know, the quarters are really built for just one person. And something that's unique for the 4 of you, all 4 of you have private quarters. Many of the crew quarters have 2 or 3 bunks in them, but the 4 of you do have private quarters. So even though it's a little tight, the 4 of you are there alone.
Welcome to my palace of comfort. Snack, and I reach out just like behind some random thing, and
I think snacks are a good idea. We haven't eaten in over 7 hours. And we need to keep our health up. So I think Bex snacks is a great idea.
Yeah, and I will tell you, as you're saying that, go ahead. I'm sorry, Bex.
Snacks are almost always a great idea, which is why I keep them in my pockets.
And just as you're saying that, Sergeant Robles, all 4 of you kind of notice, like, yeah, we haven't eaten in almost a day, and none of you feel hungry, but you do consume the snacks. Let's have everybody drop their stress by 2, please.
Woo!
My stress is back to it was when we started this session.
You're welcome.
Now, you've got about 45 minutes left on your internal timer, Eeyore, just so you know.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. You would have about an hour and a half still left on it. I apologize. So about 90 minutes.
I believe that Dr. Emma is not in cahoots with Paul and the captain based on what I could garner from their conversation. She may even be someone we can get out of VR as well to help further.
Well, we know where she is for now.
And we would probably have to have a stun baton to incapacitate her.
I wonder if we hide some weapons, if they'll be undisturbed when we go back.
Well, we had weapons on us. Well, I had weapons on me when we were on VR.
And you do now.
And I do now. But when we were out of VR, those weapons disappeared.
So some weapons are VR artifacts and some of them are real.
Well, the Robbies sure know how to pack a punch with their weapons.
Well, there, it seems, Dr. Brundle hunches forwards and whispers conspiratorially, but he's sort of like, there's obviously some entities here are robotic, like the Robbies. Some are real, like us wearing the headsets, and some are artificial intelligences like Vonnie. We need to find, and then of the real people, there's obviously some who are not in VR all the time. So we need to make contact with them. If we left notes or messages around outside of VR, they should be able to see them when they're outside of VR. And we can find out who our co-conspirators, I hesitate to call them allies, are. But we can begin to make contact.
Oh, yes. Also, we tried to check the ship docs specs, and even without your expertise, I don't think that those ships could get us out of here. There's a good chance that someone in reality is taking parts, specifically electronic parts, for some other use.
I wonder if they're trying to repair the station so it doesn't fall into the atmosphere and kill us all. That would mean we have an ally in staying alive. Unless they're taking the parts to, I don't know, build more of those robot monsters.
That was my thought. So
Either
we
way,
have a
it's likely we'll
50-50
get that.
chance. Are they trying to repair the ship? Are they building more robots? Who are they?
Bing, bing, bing. Who are we?
It's very existential of you, Bex.
I have my moments. Near death will do that to you. Or not near death. No, pretty sure. Was right there.
We need to determine our priority.
Yeah.
Dr. Brundle, what were you going to say?
I was just wondering, what did you see when Paul was there? Like, which kind of thing is he?
I believe some sort of android.
A very giant metal boot.
Definitely not Paul's boot.
You can't trust management.
Never could.
Sorry, a boot?
I'm sorry, Dr. Brundle.
You described him as a boot?
That's all that we saw. That's all that I saw before I put my headset back on. But it sounded very heavy.
And to give you a sense of scale, like it was a foot, a mechanical foot, and the foot itself was probably like, I would guess maybe like a yard long, like 3 feet long.
Oh, it was a giant foot.
We should definitely not try to fight him.
Agreed.
When I went to see... Oh, sorry. I'll just inform everybody, like when I went to see Dr. Emma, Captain Luke and Paul were there, and they gave me the heebie-jeebies, and I had to run away. I felt like if I stayed with them, they were going to do something terminal to me. So I suspect Luke is another one of these giant boots.
Boot guys. Got it. Well, I think my main goal here is to get to a place where I can determine why we're falling out of space.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And where would the safest place for that be?
Station command?
That's where everything is. And that's the most heavily guarded.
There is vent access. If we get to the comms room on floor 3, there's vent access into Station Command.
We need to minimize obstacles. Hey, Vonnie? Vonnie, when is karaoke?
So it takes a second, and there's that weird like whirring sound that kind of appears, and just digitally the hologram appears.
Are you gonna do karaoke tonight?
Well, always.
Fantastic. All four of you?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
What's wrong with that?
Well, it's gonna be voting about an hour from now. At the auditorium.
Okay. Well, I don't want you to see my practice, so I want it to be a surprise for everybody. So if you could scurry along.
Hey, but I will need your song sooner than later.
I'll get it to you before the hour.
And she kind of gives a big wave and kind of digitizes away.
I don't think we have time for karaoke.
If we get out of the VR headset long enough, we can.
And just to remind what the two of you already know, both Eeyore and Sergeant Robles, your 2 hours kind of reset, right? It is continuous time. So you have about an extra, probably like 30 minutes more than Bex and Dr. Robles has, based off of unconfirmed information, right? So let's also be clear here. We're treating this like fact. It was scrawled on a wall by somebody, this message.
Yeah, Dr. Brundle is noting it in his pocket notebook all these times to collect the hard data on this, because he's wondering, well, how once we're in it for so long, do we have to be out of it for a certain period to reset it, and how long is that? So
that's a good point.
So why don't we do this? Why don't we take it?
Everyone's at karaoke. Oh yeah.
No, go ahead, Doc. If everybody's at karaoke.
I was just going to ask, if everyone's at karaoke, that could be a time where we do some sneaking around.
Ooh, interesting. Interesting. So let's do this. Let's take a 10-minute break. We're going to give the crew a chance to figure out what the next steps are. We'll be right back. All right, so during the 10-minute break, they've got it all figured out. I can't wait to hear this master plan that's going to make this the last episode as we see you fly off into the galaxy. So what are we going to do?
All right, Bex, you're the Teamster, and Eeyore, you're the android, and we got a brain on us with the doc. What we doing?
We're looking to the person with leadership experience to make the decision. I am more of a point me towards a problem, I'll fix it kind of guy. I would really like to be able to do something with my hands instead of getting shot at.
Okay.
So there is a plan to get into. Did we get into comms before?
You did.
We were near comms. Okay, because if we get into comms again, we can then.
Yeah, and I don't think you guys went inside, but didn't seem to be guarded in the same way. Now you have not been there. That was only. Yeah, you guys didn't go into comms, but you only went there out of reality, right? You were logged off.
Hmm.
If we can get into comms, there
That was
is
one plan.
a vent that will give us access into Station Command, which hopefully will provide information about the status of the ship.
Do you think we should check the shuttles before we head off on that?
We did only check the ships and not the shuttles.
I would think, based on everything I have seen, and I could be wrong, and you can override me with this, but I would assume that the shuttles would be in the same state of detriment and detritus as the entire ship is and the spacecraft are. No, we can go check. They are shuttles for a reason.
Because you get me on a shuttle, I can get us anywhere.
There is also the workshop near the shuttle bay. That could be where whoever is collecting these items is working on putting whatever together.
That's a very good idea.
So I guess do we want to prioritize fixing the problem or getting the hell away from it?
I would like to get the hell away from it.
That's preferable.
But we may not be able to without fixing it.
Well, where to first?
The presence of the other folks working to solve the problem, suggests we can't get away, or they probably would have, unless they're really dedicated to saving these folks.
We don't know that.
I like that. Maybe we should. Oops, sorry.
We don't know that they didn't get away.
Well, we have an hour until karaoke. If we use karaoke as a distraction to get into the Station Command, in the meantime, we could go to the shuttle area to see if we can find any information and or a working shuttle.
I do have some work to do down there.
I like it.
Okay. How much longer do we have with our VR headsets, or have we been talking with these off?
I think about an hour or so. I assume that you have stayed logged in.
Okay.
So, shuttle bay?
Shuttle bay.
Shuttle bay.
Okay. So you get out to the shuttle prep area. So to give you an idea, to access the shuttle bay, there's a shuttle prep room. You went there to vanquish, I think, your first set of ghosts, your first ghost that you came across, which maybe is why you're not hungry. And it was through that shuttle bay that you then, or the shuttle prep, that you would get access to it. So you get to the shuttle prep area. Door slides open. It is very similar to how you left it when you dispersed your first data ghost. And it has a huge view window that looks out over the bay itself. And everything is, top of technology. Everything is clean. Everything's functioning. You see readings at the shuttle bay. And you can see two shuttles in the bay. And Bex, you're very familiar. You spent a lot of time in this area here. You know that there's, we have 2 functioning shuttles. These shuttles are used to usually, spend time near the gas giant. It's very common for scientists to get on the shuttle. You've piloted it for several of them, and they just get them very close to the gas giant and allow them to to collect information and data from there.
How many can fit in a shuttle?
3 comfortably. Physically, 4 of you could be in a shuttle, but it's really built for just a pilot and 2 or 3 passengers.
So everything looks in order here.
In VR, everything is in tip-top shape.
Is anybody around?
There's some. I think there's some crew members maybe working on the shuttles, just doing standard maintenance, much like you were doing at the very beginning here. But there's nobody in shuttle command. And the one thing you do know, Bex, is you do need command clearance before the shuttles are activated, so they can be worked on, they can be powered up, but they cannot leave shuttle bay without command clearance, and only Luke can authorize command clearance. So if you tried to get in a shuttle right now, from your experience, you'd be able to power it up, check its situation while you're logged in, but that you would not be able to open the bay doors and leave the shuttle bay without command clearance, and only Luke can do that.
All right.
And everything I'm presenting to you is while you're in VR, right? You're logged in right now.
So there are no Robbies here.
Nope.
Who wants to log off and look around?
I say we get behind a shuttle, away from the people that are maintaining the other shuttles.
Let's get inside the other shuttle.
What's that?
We could get inside the other shuttle.
This is true.
Oh, hey guys, just doing a little maintenance. Also teaching these casuals how to navigate a shuttle.
Now she's just showing off for us.
Yeah, and they kind of give you a wave backs and say, yeah, we finished with shuttle 1. If you want to check it out, and we'd love to know if you're happy with our maintenance check. Everything's cleared.
Yeah, I'll take a look. But shouldn't you guys be getting ready for karaoke?
So one of them looks at their watch and like, Bex, can we cut out early?
Don't tell Paul. I'll cover for you.
And before you finish your sentence, they are putting their tools away, they are packing up, and they are outski. So they love the fact that they're able to end their shift early and start getting ready for karaoke. So if you're willing to wait maybe 10, 15 minutes, they'll get everything wrapped up, and you guys will have full alone access inside of this shuttle bay. And shuttle bay is about 1/3 of the size of the ship bay that you were in before, but a similar type setup. These shuttles are considerably smaller than, of course, the Valkyrie and the 2 other ships that were in the ship bay where cargo comes in and out. These are beautiful, though small, beautiful shuttles.
I'd be interested in putting a weapon in a very secret compartment before we go back. Thoughts?
Well, and that is a question that I have. In reality, I had a revolver on me. Do I still have that revolver on me now?
As long as you're logged in, everything that's on your character sheet is in your possession, or you have access to it if it's not physically on you.
So
you can tell me whether it's physically with you or not.
Okay.
Do your revolver in non-VR, and do you have a weapon in VR?
Oh, I think I misunderstood your question, Gene. I apologize.
Yes,
You
that's
had logged off. You acquired a revolver.
I did.
Yes, and in VR, it does not appear to be on your body. Sorry.
Oh, poop.
So we wouldn't be able to store a weapon from VR and be able to access it.
Maybe. I'm gonna hide something. I'm just gonna hide something. See if it's still there.
Great. What are you grabbing, Bex? And where are you putting it? There's a bunch of tools and stuff. There's all kinds of stuff here.
I think I'll put my favorite banner.
Oh, I thought you were going to put a snack somewhere.
Oh, I guess they won't stay in my pocket. So I'll put a snack next to my spanner. I don't want it to be on the shuttle. I want it to be in the bay, something not near anything important. Maybe like adjacent to an air vent, but nothing that has any mechanical.
Yeah, if you want to pull a panel off, you have the tools to do that, and you could put something behind the panel and put the panel back.
Yes, I would like to do that.
Okay, done.
All right. Are we all going back, or I probably should? I will be.
Yeah, you need to go back, most definitely. You've been in VR almost way too long. As have we.
The dock is on my timeline.
Yes.
But I don't know if the doc can watch my back in real other world. No offense. Little offense.
All right, so what are we doing?
I'll stay long. I want to see how far this goes.
You're gonna stay logged in?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so if I'm hearing correctly, it sounds like Beck, Sergeant Robles, and Eeyore were taking off our headsets.
Yes, but as soon as I do so, I'll want to grab something to be able to knock the good doctor upside the head if he starts acting funny while wearing the headset.
Did we bring my crowbar with me? No.
I have a stun baton. Doesn't have any charges, but it's a blunt weapon.
And you've got your revolver if we need to put the dock down. So
There will be tools around as well.
Also true.
all right, so let's have you take your helmet off, Beck, so you know the routine. Let's start off with a sanity save. Okay, go ahead and add. Go ahead and add 2 stress for me, or 4 stress. That's not the roll. I only roll for damage, so it's 4 stress if you fail the sanity save. So add 4 stress. Where does that put your stress specs?
12.
Okay. And then let's do a quick body save to see if you take 2 damage. Okay, let's go ahead and take 2 damage as you come out and you leave Mergen's watch and come to the station. Oh my God, your entire abdomen is just so sore. You feel a lot better than you did last time you were in reality. So Dr. Emma really did a pretty good job, it looks like. And what I think is interesting to think about is all signs would appear because you have the pad on your stomach logged off. So it appears that whatever Dr. Emma did happened both in VR and logged off as well, because you have been healed as you are logged off. So even though you are not nearly at 100%, you are in much better shape than the last time you were out of VR. Eeyore, let's do the same thing. Let's lift off our headset. Let's do a sanity save or take 4 stress. Okay, let's add that 4 stress, and then we'll do a body save. Okay, I need you to take 2 damage to your health, if you don't mind.
So that is going to put me at another wound.
Okay, so you won't get a wound from
I'll
this,
get it.
but
Yeah,
it'll put you at 0 health. Yep, so you're in a very similar situation as Sergeant Robles.
All right.
All right, let's add 4 stress.
Do we have to?
We do. I'm not going to have you take a body save because there's nothing. If you fail this body save, you're not taking wounds. You're already at 0 health. So,
right.
So there's no need to do it. It's not going to cause a wound and set you on your next health track. So you can stay right where you are on the precipice of don't stub your toe because it'll cause a wound. You 3 look around. You can see the doc still with his headset on. And you see both shuttles. Shuttle 2, which is what the your fellow crew members, Bex, were working on before you let them cut out early and made their day. That is not in great shape. From the outside, though, it doesn't look like it's been dismantled in the same way that you heard about the ships in the main ship bay. But just giving it a very cursory look, you question whether it would be functional. And I think what makes you really question is how it compares to Shuttle 1. Because you look at Shuttle 1 and it looks almost the same as it did in VR.
I think someone's been taking good care of this shuttle.
Probably for a good reason. Shall we go into the shuttle and examine it?
Yeah. Maybe first I want to check my spanner.
Yes.
So you don't have quite the same quality of tools that you did in VR. It takes a little bit of jury rigging to kind of get that panel to pop out. And your scanner is not there. And even more disappointingly, there's no snacks either.
I cannot leave myself things. The snacks are gone.
So it's kind of a small ladder that's already down that you have to climb up to then get into the shuttle. The shuttle door is open, and Bex, you get in, and it's not as clean as it is when you're logged in, but it's in pretty damn good shape. And as you kind of get into the pilot's chair and kind of rotate around to the console, we start seeing the nondescript science fiction movie flipping switches, and everything powers up. It is fully fueled. Your assessment is that if you had command clearance, this shuttle will fly.
What kind of sensors does the shuttle have?
A lot of scientific shuttle sensors, but you give me an idea of what you're looking for, and I'll tell you if it's there. What are you trying to figure out?
Trying to figure out if there, life forms around, how those register, and kind of the surrounding space outside of the station.
All right, well, let's do that. Let's do a quick intellect check. Your piloting will work here.
Or my industrial equipment.
Either one that's better. So you start going through the sensors. Immediately you pick up around 60 or 70 life forms within the confines of the station, which is maybe about 30 shy of what you know to be the population in logged in, right? So there seems to be about a 20 to 30 person deficit in logged off. Spread throughout the station. Quickly looking, there doesn't appear to be anybody close right now to the shuttle bay area, other than the four of you. Those are all accounted for. Outside, you are picking up similar readings as you would in VR. So it would appear that the gas giant and everything that you have experienced and flown very close to in VR is identical, logged off.
Does that indicate to me that we're not actually in orbital decay?
No. You had a nice success. Yeah, you can tell that you are closer to the giant logged off than you are logged in.
Got it. Well, that's interesting. Also, this is interesting. I'm gonna climb back down. So, we've learned a couple things. There are still a lot of life forms on this ship. We are in orbital decay, from what I could tell, and Dr. Emma might actually be in the med bay and okay. Breathing. However, even though this ship is running really well and is fueled up, we need a command code to exit.
So we would need to get that from Captain Luke.
Yep.
Who's likely not an ally.
Eeyore, is there a way that you could plug into the computer and get an override?
Well, I've never tried that before, but I suppose that may be something that the doctor is more apt at. I believe he's shared stories before of hacking.
So, Doctor, do you think that you would be able to hack an override and obtain an override code to get us out of here?
He's still in VR.
Oh, fudge. He's still in VR.
I trust more in his abilities to accomplish that than in mine.
Okay.
We would likely need to get into Station Command to do so, since we're already planning on going there. Add that to the list.
This is a very long list for a very short period of time.
Well, now we know we have an escape route. But we can only fit us 4.
And we have no idea who's been maintaining this. Craig rolling makes me nervous.
Especially the secret one.
Yes.
Okay.
I think it's time that we try to get the good doctor out of VR. That way we can ask him to see if he can hack and get a command code.
Should we do that while we're in here, or should we go back into VR in order to get to the comms area without as many obstacles?
Well, there's not a lot for me to fix here. Unless we want to leave someone to guard it. Or lock it in some way. We should probably leave and go do something useful.
Yeah. And I don't know who we could leave to guard it.
It may not be safe to leave someone alone either.
And no.
We can't take the piloting, steering off and just take that with us so that no one can.
I can probably set a code of some sort, a locking code.
I think that you would be able to remove a component, and then you don't need to roll for this. So if you wanted to take a piece of the shuttle that would prevent it from being used unless that piece was replaced, you can do that. You can pop under the console, pop out a spark plug, a space spark plug,
Something
and
a
put it in
little
your
more
pocket.
subtle than the steering wheel.
Yeah.
I will do that.
Yep.
It is right here in my pocket.
So, back into VR.
Or
do we want to go elsewhere on this floor? We do have the workshop.
I want to do a quick just walk around of this shuttle bay.
Mm-hmm.
Just to see if anything looks very unusual or interesting.
So as you kind of walk around, keeping a safe distance, of course, from the good doctor, you do find something. And I think maybe you find it, you come across maybe a tool rack. And there's no tools on top of it on the hooks, but there's a series of drawers in the tool rack. Most of the drawers have been pulled out, except the bottom one. And let's have you pull out as part of your inspection. You pull that out. You find a data chip. And printed on the data chip is the words Project Eternity.
Well, I'm more of a hardware guy, but what do you think, E?
Could I plug that into myself?
There's only one person who is super familiar with an EY0RE model. So you tell me.
Let's download some data.
Oh, God. Are you sure?
Sergeant, you have a gun to use if this goes horribly awry.
Hey, are you sure?
We don't have. Do we have other terminals that work outside of VR? We wouldn't be able to access the data chip in VR. This
What
seems
kind
important.
of virus malware protection do you have? How many vaccines have you had against this chip?
Is your-
McAfee
your-
3000 and
Is your McAfee updated?
Any way you can isolate this to not take over? I don't want to lose you.
I do not want to be lost. I can try to build up some firewalls here to
Yeah.
keep this in a protected environment. Incognito.
Incognito mode.
you right click the browser and choose the incognito. So, before you decide what you're going to do, where would we be inserting Project Eternity? Where do you insert our data chips?
Well, Eeyore doesn't eat food. They recharge, so there's ports in Eeyore's mouth.
That's amazing. Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, underneath the synthetic tongue, you're just gonna have to kind of right in there.
Perfect. So my question is are we going to?
I say yes. So what's the worst that can go wrong?
You would need to kill
You-
me.
Did you get shot in the stomach? Because that hurts.
To be fair, I don't necessarily feel pain.
Project Eternity.
We could keep this until we get to Station Command and see if we have a functioning computer terminal there. I don't need to plug it in now.
One thing I will tell you, and this does not indicate necessarily what's happening at Station Command, right? But everything that you've seen logged off is any type of terminals, any type of networking, everything has all been migrated to VR. Now, that may be different in Command. We don't know that.
Could it be plugged into the VR headset so that we can access the information in VR?
I don't think so.
So do we wait?
I don't know.
Do we have time to wait?
We do not have time to wait. Do we have time to get to the command center?
We do need to go there soon. And are
Yeah,
we
the
at
only
the 2
person-
hours and 45 minutes for the doctor yet?
Yeah, your guys are getting close. I was about to say you've
Okay.
got about probably like 30 minutes left on Dr. Brundle's timer.
We need to get the doctor out of VR soon, which means we will need to get at least into comms or somewhere safe where we can all be out of VR for a while. I'll hold on to the data chip. I will not use it yet.
You be careful. I trust you.
Going in my pocket.
Do we force the doc out, or are we going back in to try to get to comms, or are we crawling through the vents? Vents?
Vents.
Up to the
Can we
vents now?
go? up and down floors in the vents, though? I don't think
No
so.
indication that that's possible. You've not seen that. And something that I didn't really call out as much, but I think that the four of you would notice this, is there is between each of these floors and sections, there are airlocks. And these are heavy duty industrial doors. You have to have specific access in order to cross over these airlock doors. And when you have looked at these doors when you're logged off, there doesn't appear to be any way to open these doors. But when you're logged in, you guys all have pass keys that allow you to move from section to section in VR.
I think it will be quicker to get to comms in VR.
Do we want to swing by the med bay?
Yes.
Yes.
Now?
Yes.
Yes.
I think we should potentially pilfer some stim packs as well.
Grab some food.
All right, so I've got 3 logged off. I've got the doc logged in, and we are in the shuttle bay.
I say we log back on, go to med bay, then head up to comms. All log off.
But we need to talk to Dr. Emma in IRL. Probably.
Maybe the doctor can get offline since he's been the only one continuous at this point now. When we get to medbay, we can determine that when who's going to log off when we get to medbay.
Very well.
Okay.
All right, so everybody's headsets back on. Everybody's stress drops by 2 immediately.
Oh.
And Dr. Brundle, you see these data ghosts just materialize in a very digital way, very similar to the way Vani comes and goes. And you see Eeyore, Sergeant Robles, and Bex return.
Did I have any urge to murder data ghosts?
You have been able to keep your mind to yourself, and you have been very aware these few times where you've had your crew members as data ghosts near you. And I would suspect the big difference is you were not under stress or under threat, right? So it seems to be if you kind of are in a safe spot, you seem to be able to keep your awareness of these data ghosts are my fellow crew members.
Right.
So no,
I'll
you had
share
no
that
urge,
insight.
no urge to eat them.
Yeah, I think I've had this experience a couple times now. So
Yeah.
just like I know before I attacked you, but this time it's feeling good. I can separate data ghosts from from the urge to murder.
That's comforting.
All right. So we're going to swing by
Did you learn anything about who's been maintaining these shuttles, or?
No, but they're not taking off without us. Unless it was me.
So let's cut to the 4 of you going through the station, through a couple airlocks, and we are back at med bay, and the whooshing sound of the med bay door as it opens. In there you see our Robbie friend, who was there before. You see Dr. Emma. One quick note. When you did your scan, Bex, you saw 1 life form in medbay. No, I take that back. You saw no life forms in medbay. I had to think for a second. Because Robbies are not life forms.
No.
Oh, then Dr. Emma's not.
Bex, how are you feeling? I thought you were going to rest.
Yeah, I'm afraid I might have pushed a little too hard. Just wanted to check in.
And she turns to Dr. Brundle. She goes, "You're the bad influence, aren't you? I gave very clear prescriptive instructions."
Very guilty face.
Yeah, Bex, hop back on the table. Let's do a quick checkup.
Yep. Can we? I mean, I'm okay with my friends being here, but I feel a little vulnerable. Do we need an armed guard in here? No offense.
So she turns to the Robbie that's there, and she goes, "Davis, I'm not going to tell you again. You're fine, and I'm sure that Sergeant Robles expects you to be back on shift. So the next time you come down here, you better have something wrong with you." And he is startled and looks to you, Sergeant Robles, and just hops off the table. He goes, "No, of course, yeah. I was going to head right back to my shift. Yeah. Thanks again, Doc."
And I give Davis a very stern look.
He does not make eye contact with you. He gets his ass out of there as fast as possible. At least logged in, everybody's afraid of Sergeant Robles. So she starts to do some scans. What are the four of us doing?
While Dr. Emma is preoccupied with scanning Bex, can we try to grab some stim packs?
Ooh. Who has the highest intellect among the three of you? Is it Dr. Brundle? Dr. Brundle, what's your intellect?
Oh, 49.
Oh, it's probably me then. Mine is 61.
I think you would have the best chance to serendipitously try to grab this. So let's do a quick intellect check. I will allow this at advantage because Emma is pretty preoccupied. 34 success. All right, so let's do this real quick. I'm going to open up Eeyore. And let's put a stim pack in your items. And let's go ahead and say you've got 5 of them.
Woohoo. There we go.
So yeah, you just casually just kind of grabbing some stim packs off a shelf here and out of a drawer there, filling your little pockets.
I've learned from Bex that there are many places within these uniforms to store things.
So she says to you, Bex, on the table, she goes, you're didn't tear or anything, but I can tell that you've been moving around a lot. So I'm going to say this one more time, and if Dr. Brundle contradicts what I'm telling you right now, you need to listen to me. And you need you to go back to your dorm, and I need you to sleep and rest. I've already told Paul. Paul has given you 2 days clearance from any duties. You need to rest, Bex.
What if I rest right here? Kind of kick back on the med pit.
If it means that you promise that you will rest, you're welcome to keep this bed.
How about you do your checkup finally, Dr. Brundle? Or are you scared? Should the real doctor do a scan on herself to show you that it's not scary?
At first he thinks that's like a coded message to do something, and he realizes it's just being disrespected. He was already quite blushing and upset being called out by Dr. Emma for, rogue behavior, and now it's just
I think that's a wonderful idea. So she kind of pats the bed next to Bex. She goes, "Why don't you hop up here and let's get this done so that Luke will get off my case and I can mark you off for your 2-week physical."
Okay. I will hop up on the bed.
Yep, and she starts scanning for vitals and things like that. And she's like, "Look, this looks good." Yep, okay. And she's just kind of talking you through it. Your cholesterol's a little high.
I want to talk back throughout this in the normal Seth Brundle endless patter, but I want to work into it. Kind of edge case Turing test stuff. I believe she's an AI.
Oh, interesting.
And
Interesting.
Try to confirm this.
Yeah, and I think Dr. Brundle would be able to do at least a rudimentary Turing test here because of what you work on. So I love this idea. So let's do an intellect check. And I would imagine you might have a skill.
I have a master in AI.
Oh, easy.
All right, so how do I do this now?
So click on intellect, and then you should have the option of being able to choose AI as the skill, and then just do a standard roll.
My foundry has been just struggling, so I may pass the baton to you to roll.
Yep, let's do it. So we'll click intellect. We're going to apply artificial intelligence. I'm going to roll normal, and you're going to accept this roll. I have your consent. Yep. A whopping 19.
Absolutely.
Phenomenal. Yeah, you're just running your freaking mouth, asking her questions. She's getting visibly annoyed by you. And your little curveball Turing questions come at her. Passes the first one, passes the second one. And I, just like you, don't really know what question this would be, but the third question you ask, she fails. Is he always this talkative? She kind of turns to the other three of you.
Yes.
I was mumbling about something.
Yes, always.
And I don't think,
All right.
I don't think even Eeyore is aware of what you're doing, Dr. Brundle. You look good.
My demeanor will shift there. I'll also have quite like a little impish smile and a glint in my eye as I'm like, something's happened.
So let's maybe cut back on creamer in our coffee. But you're fine, and I'll mark you in the logs. But I would like your 2-week checkups to be every 2 weeks.
Absolutely. I'm excited to be regular.
Bex cannot keep a straight face.
So Bex has made it clear that she's going to be here in the med bay, resting up for the next couple days. Dr. Brundle has some information. Eeyore has been stealing. Sergeant Robles has been scaring off Robbie's. What are we doing now? Emma's kind of gone off, and she's kind of, logging into a terminal. You can see she's kind of updating probably your information, Dr. Brundle.
Bex, are you actually staying here?
Well, won't there be a all hands lookout for you if you disappear from here and Dr. Emma notices?
What do you mean I have to be confined to quarters because of this incident, Sarge? That doesn't seem fair.
Well, you heard me. Confined to quarters. How dare you?
she comes over and she goes, Sergeant Robles, what's happening?
Insubordination.
A look of not surprised on her face. She goes, that's fine, but you understand that when it comes to medical, I outrank even you. So she can go back to her quarter, or they can go back to their quarters, but they are going to stay there. And I will hold you responsible if I find out that they're not resting.
Understood, Dr. Emma. But you would not believe the insubordination. They just back to quarters.
I have no doubts.
All right, I'll get some support. I like lean heavily on whoever is closest to me. We'll make it up there slowly.
So you guys have no trouble leaving.
Are we heading
Okay.
to comms now? Karaoke is starting soon.
Karaoke may relieve some stress.
Unless you're singing.
Doctor, you seem more gleeful than normal.
Yeah, we can have
Yes.
you out in the hallway at this point.
Yeah. Calls everyone and is like, I am 93% sure Dr. Emma is an AI. Like, that's impressive. She's like, that's all.
I liked how you nodded after that. That was good. Very conspiratorial.
So an AI that still works out in VR.
It's a really good point. So maybe more accurately, not human.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly.
There's an artificial intelligence behind whatever Dr. Emma is. I don't think he would either disguise the kind of like a little bit of maybe this. He was interested in Dr. Emma, and this just ramps it up as like, Dr. Emma, artificial intelligence lady. And not like just like that's his field, right? Like he's
Yeah.
super excited.
So I am not up to speed on what that means exactly. Can we fix it? Can we use it? Is that an ally? Or should we get the hell out of here?
Potentially.
That's
All of the above.
scientists.
Does this change anything about our previous plans to go to the station command?
No, but we have to dodge the real doctor or AI person thing.
We have been able to do so far,
You're welcome.
other than when needing to seek them out directly.
And the doctor is not on the same page as the captain or Paul, or at least as Paul from the evidence. I don't know about the captain yet, but so there's some difference between those.
So are we gonna stay in and head to comms, or are we checking out what this looks like?
Yes.
I think.
Stop answering yes to multi-part questions.
I think we stay in and get
Oh.
to talk comms and then remove the headsets.
If I had hair, I would pull it out.
The practical versus the theoretical.
If it's something I can plug in and assemble, but this is beyond me.
So,
Well, it's
staying logged in.
comms.
Yep, staying logged in. The four of you go up to the floor 3 and into administration. Walking past, of course, life support, where you have spent a good bit of time, and you turn a corner into the hallway, and this was a hallway that was the scene of something pretty traumatic. When you were logged off the last time you were in this hallway, where there was command on one side and comms on the other, Bex almost died. So I am going to need a fear check from Bex, please.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That's gonna be made at a disadvantage because we're together.
Okay.
So it's going to be a fear save. You can click on fear. You choose disadvantage. At disadvantage.
Well done.
I'm not afraid.
Oh my God.
Badass.
You rolled a 10 and a 28. That's amazing. You turn the corner and comms is on the left. There are two Robbies there, man and a woman. And or that was command, sorry. And on the right is the comms door. I do need a little bit of insight here because do we know why Bex was able to keep their shit together? Because the feeling rose, the feeling of panic was raising as you were getting closer and closer to this hallway, but somehow you were able to stuff it and hide it somewhere.
I'm really good at compartmentalizing, but having a plan and a thing to do is really kind of the organizing mode for the brain right now. I can go into solve a problem mode,
Right.
instead of thinking about myself, my problems, and the existential panic that plagues us all.
And as the four of you turn the corner, the Robbies immediately straighten up just a little bit stiffer when they see Sergeant Robles. The door to comms does open, and it's a good-sized room. There's about 2 or 3 crew members inside working. It very claustrophobic. It's almost like a maze of racks of electronics. There's several terminals. They kind of the 4 crew members that are working, 3 crew members that are working, kind of look at the 4 of you, but just go back to the work that they're doing.
What are you guys doing here? Isn't it almost time for karaoke?
Yeah, but we're doing coverage. We're gonna have to do karaoke next week. It's our rotation. And just clackety clack the keyboards as they're typing.
Oh, Vonnie will be so disappointed.
I did hear that the prize for karaoke this week was second dessert.
Are you just trying to make it worse? Clack, 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 clack on the keyboard.
Well, I have been programmed to help with the coverage, so I wasn't supposed to start until next week, but I would hate for you to miss on second dessert. I, of course, can't. benefit from it. So
we're seeing some glances between the four of them, and they're like somebody seems to be waiting for someone to say something, but there's some grins happening. They can tell what you're hinting at.
So I think we can do this. I won't tell a soul, and the Sarge is being real cool today. So
I had my second dessert today. I'm happy.
So it's okay if we
get out of here. I'm just here for hardware
they
support.
just start packing up. Yeah, and one of the women turns to you, Eeyore, and goes, "I'm just going to keep myself logged in. Is that okay?" So,
yeah,
perfect.
You'll get. I'll jiggle the mouse.
You guys, this karaoke is working out really well. They're gone. You have comms to yourself.
Everybody wants second dessert, and karaoke is the best.
Quick question. If I check in my pocket, the data chip is not there. Just double check.
Nor is the vent on the ceiling.
What the hell is why is the vent in another place?
I think the vent is only in reality.
So we don't need airflow in this reality.
Because it's virtual. How did we never notice this?
What else is wrong with this ship schematic? Now I need to know.
I think it is very close to time we need to get out of VR, especially the good doctor.
Yes.
I'll take a note to add to my augmented reality test HVAC flow.
I will tell you,
Good.
Eeyore, when you get to the terminal that still remains logged in, something kind of catches your eye. And you do a little bit of clicking and typing, and you're able to find the comms log. And takes a little bit of digging. I don't need a roll for it. Everything appears, just
Hey.
Alexa reminder. Everything's like all clear. But then you find what appears to me maybe a second set of logs, and you see instances over the last month and a half, 4 different times that a distress signal was sent from comms. And each time within 10 minutes, the distress signals were canceled.
And this was over what this period of time?
Over the last month and a half.
All right.
Someone was trying to get a distress signal out, and it keeps getting canceled. They've been doing this for some time now. They're getting...
We're in VR Mergen's watch, right?
You guys are all logged in, yeah.
So someone else logged in is under distress.
The most recent one is like 3 weeks ago. So it was pretty tightly packed in succession. You're looking at the logs. All 4 distress signals were sent by the same login, Clay_442. All 4 of the distress signals transmissions were canceled by the same login, Luke_001.
Clay may have been. And then so the last one was a few weeks ago, and there haven't been any more attempts since then.
So we've got Luke's login. Is there a way we can get his password?
Well, we just have the comm log.
Yeah, this is just, you just see the username.
Okay, well, at least we know. So if if we do try to program a distress signal out, that Luke is able to go in and cancel it.
There's some
Immediate.
sort of notification.
Well, at this point, I think with that countdown, we probably don't have time for a distress signal to go out and for help to arrive.
So we doing the vents?
I think the vents.
This might be rough. I'm gonna take my headset off, or try to. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's, the routine, Bex. Oh, whoa.
Should we take the stim packs first?
Oh, how many you got?
I have 5.
I'll take one.
Okay. I'm gonna take 1.
Everybody's going to dose.
I think that's a
Yeah.
wonderful idea.
All right. So if you'll first, Eeyore, drop your stim packs down to 1. And let's start with Bex. So Bex, immediately you drop your stress by 1. More importantly, roll a d10 for me. And go ahead and restore 1 health.
The one time I don't want to roll low. The single time. It's okay. Doc fix me up.
True.
Actually, no, you have 2 left because stim packs don't work on you, unfortunately, Eeyore.
Oh yeah, that.
So you have 2 left.
Got
But
it.
let's go ahead and dose Sergeant Robles. You can drop your stress by 1. And then roll me a d10.
Well, so
All right, so you can restore up to 7 health. And Dr. Brundle, lower your stress by 1.
I feel fine. I'll just pocket it for later.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's pop that up to 3. We'll just keep the inventory. It's spread around, but
Yeah.
as a group,
Yeah.
you have 3. So that's done. Are we now removing? Are we all logging off?
yes.
All right. Let's start with you. It's been a while, Dr. Brundle. Let's take off our headset and let's do first a sanity save.
I've closed everything that's running.
Oh, sorry. You want me to do it for you?
Sure.
All right.
It's gonna take like 20 seconds to pull up the save, so
Oh,
Okay.
I do this before. I don't know what's different.
That's the last time you want me to do that for you. I need to start with you adding 4 stress. I want to do the other checks before we have you roll panic, because that is a critical failure on a save, which immediately triggers panic. Let's go ahead and do your body save, though. I'm going to roll your body save.
Okay. Yeah, that doesn't look good.
All right. And
Oh, sorry, that's the 99 just showed up on my screen.
yeah, that was your critical failure. And you're going to take 3 damage. So your health is going to go down to 11. I'll go ahead and take care of that for you. All right, we're going to come back to your panic. Bex, can you go ahead and give me your sanity save, please?
Wow.
I am so sane.
You
right
are
now.
so focused. So not only do you not take 4 stress, but I think you getting one step closer to your target, your goal, your job, actually lowers your stress by 2. So go ahead and drop your stress by 2 for that critical success on that. Let's do the body save though. Well done.
Whew.
All right, I do need you to take 1 damage. So to drop your health by 1, please.
That one you just got back.
Yeah, that's impact. What in handy.
All right, Eeyore, let's get that sanity save.
Okay.
Well done. Let's do our body save. Also well done. Look how focused everybody is, except the doc. All right. Sergeant Robles, you going to continue this beautiful series of rolls? Can I get a sanity save, please?
You may.
Okay, so that's going to be 4 stress. Where does that put your stress now?
Oh, I can't add 23.
That's not good.
No,
And
that's not.
Let's do a body save.
Oh.
And I am owed 2 panic checks at this point.
Oh, no.
So first, your damage. I need you to take 4. Oh no, you're at 0.
I was back up to 7.
Okay, so drop by 4 for me. Whose panic check do I want first? I think I want Sergeant Robles. So Sarge, before you do anything, let's take a quick look at our situation. Your stress is currently at 20.
Yes.
So you are going to panic. It's just a matter of how bad. If you click on stress, you should get the option to do a panic check.
Okay.
Now, if you roll over your stress on a D20, you don't panic. We know that's not going to happen. So what we're going to see is how you panic.
Okay. Ready?
Yep. You are overwhelmed. You are on a negative on all rolls for the next. Go ahead and click that 1D10 for me. So for the next 8 minutes, you're on a negative for all rolls. Your minimum stress, I think, is 2. I need you to pop that up to 3. So you cannot get lower than 3 stress. But that being said, phenomenal panic check. Let's see how the doc does, though. Doc, would you like me to roll it for you? Or do you think you can do it?
I don't know. No,
I would prefer not to, but if we are forced to, if you click on stress, tell me if something comes up.
Yep. Okay, here we are. Hopefully.
You're at 13, so we need you to roll higher than a 13. We'll give it a second. While we're waiting for that result, Sergeant Robles, as you take off the VR headset, this on and off, on and off, on and off, especially, I mean, we've done it, three times now here in the last hour and a half. Oh, you passed it. You rolled a 15. Oh, well done, Doc. You feel that flutter. You feel that need, that temptation to lose it, but you're able to keep it together. And Dr. Brundle, you're fine. You've rolled over your stress, so no panic for you. But the four of you are now logged off. And all the terminals are gone. They're just pieces of metal, steel that have been patched over, whatever keyboards have been there. The comm readouts, most of the screens are broken. There's been components in comms that have been removed. And Bex, you notice that these are also essentially CPU chips that have been removed from many of these comm terminals. I think the most disturbing thing is the 3 dead bodies you find at your feet. They've been dead for a good bit. Looks like maybe at least a week. At least that's what it smells like. And one of them is partially consumed. Good news is there's a vent above your head.
These
And this is one of the first places we dealt with data ghosts?
I don't think you've been in comms, have you?
I don't think
Okay,
so.
not comms.
No, that was life support, I think, is where you...
And the current console that we're at, the only one that was left logged on is Toast also.
Toast.
Okay. So up the vents we go? Or do we loot the bodies? The stinky, smelly, decomposing bodies.
You look them over, there's nothing.
To the vents.
To the vents?
Yeah, into the vent.
So you guys have done this a few times, and you've kind of figured out how to kind of boost and lift and get the 4 of you up there. Your army crawling through these vents. These vents, according to your maps, should take you directly to Station Command. You look in the vent before you open it, and you're not seeing any movement. There's a bit of a stench coming from the room, but the limited visibility you have, it's not clear where that's coming from, but it's a smell that unfortunately is somewhat familiar to what you smelled in comms.
All right. You ready to jump down and jump into it?
Yep.
You drop down into Station Command. There are 3 corpses at 3 stations. They still have their VR masks on, but they are dead.
They still have their VR masks on.
They do.
Interesting.
Maybe not too surprising, though there's several terminals inside of the Station Command, several screens that are all dark and broken. There does not seem to be any active live terminals as you are logged off and looking around. Now, one thing that stands out is there's a placard and a picture on the wall. It's of a African-American woman. She looks to be in her late, maybe 40s, early 50s. Stunning. Sharp cheekbones. White braids. Under her picture is the placard, and it says Captain Diane Rodriguez.
Eeyore, can you check your memory for any Captain Rodriguez?
Sure. Eyes roll back into yours head.
No
Nothing.
crew manifests, nothing.
And no places to insert that wonderful little data chip.
That we don't have.
We're not in VR, so we do have it. It's in my pocket.
It's in your pocket.
There's nothing powered here.
From a mechanical standpoint, does it look like anything is fixable?
No.
No.
There's
Can we look-
CPUs
Can
missing.
we look behind the picture?
It's bolted to the wall, but if you want to take a minute or two, I'm sure we can get that unbolted.
Bex, would you like to try?
I mean, she's very pretty. You really want that right now?
There might be something behind it.
Like a safe?
Something. Anything. Snacks.
Yes, I hope there's. Okay, we can work on this. Gonna read something, I'm sure.
You get very close to it, Bex, and you see the placard, you see the name, and across the room you could read Captain Diane Rodriguez. What you notice as you get closer, a much smaller type under there is serving with a date that's about 5 years ago and a dash, so no end date to her serving. And you get the placard off, and there's nothing behind it, no snacks. You've been lied to.
None of the 3 bodies sitting at the stations have matching white braids.
Nope.
Do they look familiar at all?
They don't.
What are they wearing?
Different suits. Non-matching yours or each other's. And none of them have any kind of identification patches or anything.
Well, we made it. Do we?
I think we're going back in and
Yeah, we've got to go back in and get that data chip accessed.
We can only do the data chip outside, but we need to try and see if we can get a way to open up the shuttle bay doors so we can get out with the shuttle.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
And if we can learn any information about the orbit decay.
Do you know one thing that I have noticed? And walk with me here. Is these Robbies are very, very strong outside of VR, but they are terrified of me within VR. I'm just throwing that out there as something to consider, to mull on in the next, I don't know how many hours we have left. But we might be able to kill the Robbies and hide them somewhere in VR. That way we don't have so many to deal with outside of VR.
Could put them in the brig.
Sure.
Although, how many are there?
Probably
There's
tons.
about, like 15 Robbies that work in rotation.
Have an all
Let's
Robbies
just-
meeting and then lock them in a room.
We could do that.
Oh, Robbie's meeting in the airlock.
Do we all want to go in? There's not a lot to fix on the other side for me.
No,
as
there
you're
isn't.
logged off right now, there's nothing that you could do, even with all the time and the resources, Bex.
Yeah, you'll need to go through putting it back off, taking it back off again to leave this. Well, I guess no, we can go out the door once we're here. But that's
Well,
a fascinating
one thing to keep in
point
mind
because-
is, just real quick though, it has been always made very clear that you need direct permission from Luke to enter command, and that is a security protocol. Even Sergeant Robles would not, logged in, be allowed in to station command. So in VR, if you walk out of this, it will definitely get a lot of attention.
there's some culpability there. But to extend on what your thought about the Robbies, like there's just this is a fundamentally different kind of virtual reality, because what we're talking about is like there's nothing electronic that works in this room or in this station that we've seen, and yet somehow when we go into the virtual world, everything works like we expect it to, which
I'll tell you, Dr.
I don't know what to
Brundle,
make of that.
this is, you've been picking up clues as you've been going, right? You've been very focused on this VR and the interaction between being logged off and logged in. And there is one thing you know for sure, that this virtual reality that is in place on this station is way beyond any virtual reality that you've even heard theorized about. From the realness of it, the
there's no
capabilities.
way to make a broken door slide open when you're imagining it differently.
You have not even read of anything close to this in theory, let alone it's happening.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So we need to get to
Go it.
the VR control center and disable the VR control center while we're in it, and that would kill us.
Just say you don't want to keep playing. That's fine. And Bex, anytime that you have been released from command to fly the shuttle, it would come from the command center, and it would be Luke that did it.
Well, we've got the chip. What are you thinking, Eeyore?
I'm thinking that you three go into virtual reality and try to see if we can get the permissions to open the shuttle bay, and I am going to stay here and put the data chip in and see if I can get some information. Because we have all of these questions and we have no answers.
Can we trust you by yourself with that?
Maybe not. Someone willing to stay behind with me to stop me if they need to.
I will.
Would the Teamster be the best one, or the doctor that thinks an AI?
For some reason, your mic went weird. Gene, can you say that last part? Yeah, go ahead.
Should it be the Teamster, to be with the android, or the doctor that's interested in AI be with the android?
I think we need the doctor to hack the command center, though, so that we can get the shuttle bay door open.
Why don't we do one and then the other?
Okay.
Are there chairs?
So my mission is to
I'm gonna make Eeyore as comfortable as possible.
Are we putting the chip in our mouth?
I've considered all this information. We need answers.
bold.
All right, Eeyore. I want a sanity save, please.
Okay.
Real quick, give me a quick intellect check.
Okay.
And this is your ability to take in the data.
Can I use my computer's skill?
You sure can.
All right.
So immediately you recognize a tremendous amount of information is on this chip. You also immediately recognize that every single file that is stored on this chip is corrupted. And it's corrupted in a way that you have never come across before. To the point that the only word that describes this to you is alien. I need a panic check, please, because the corruption is reaching out.
Outro. Where do I
Click on stress.
Chicken? Okay, on stress.
And you just need to roll over. What's your current stress? You just need to roll higher.
19.
All right, a 20 would be good here.
Let's go nat 20. Oh. Thought I saw it there for a second.
Could be considerably worse.
Mm-hmm.
So gain a stress. I don't know if it already put you at 20 automatically or not, but you were at 19. If not, you're now at 20. Roll that D10. So for the next 5 hours, you're going to be at advantage for all rolls, all damage rolls. And you have an overwhelming feeling of pure anger as this corruption starts trying to spread. Now you've passed the intellect check. It is not going to spread. You are going to successfully be able to stop this. But I would like to know what the other 3 crew members are seeing as you feel this incredible amount of rage. So you put the chip in your mouth. What do they see?
Yours eyes go back, but instead of this just being like the whites, it actually, you almost can see the minuscule, the green scrolling data as it's being consumed kind of by Eeyore. The moment that corruption starts to hit, Eeyore twitches first. So there is a physical jolt. And then their eyes come back, but the pupils are almost entirely dilated, and Eeyore's eyes almost look like they have a bit of like a red halo to them.
I think everybody is watching this, Eeyore, and is very anxious to hear the next words out of your mouth.
I need to find Captain Luke.
Okay.
Is there a specific reason why you need to find Captain Luke?
I would like to kill him.
Let's go to credits. Back.
Would we do in the morning again?
Yeah, it'd be regular time. Yeah, it'd be morning again. We're back. Man, we ran a little long, but I couldn't stop watching the four of you play. It's super interesting to see the four of you in character as character dealing with just one bad scenario after another bad scenario and just this pressure. Phenomenal play just across the board. And Allie, it was a wonderful way to verbalize what mechanically was happening. Totally believed it. Let's start with you, Rob. Let's do thoughts, stars, and wishes. So thoughts is the system, what's going on, theories about what's happening.
Oh, I'm so frustrated.
Are you?
I am. Everything that could go wrong does. But stars go to Allie. That description at the end, that was amazing.
Thank you.
So we may not know exactly what Sergeant Robles is thinking, but I want to know what Gene is thinking. So Gene, what do you think is going on here? What do you think you know now? Or what new questions do you have compared to where you were 3 hours ago?
Well, what I find interesting is that the robots change within VR and outside of VR, but are still active. Whereas the computers and the electronics that we're trying to access are all dead outside of VR. So what's the controlling these really big robots? And how do we get them to stop?
So what are you wishing for in episode 5 in 2 weeks?
Oh, I don't know. I'm trying to find that way to unplug them so we can get around without sneaking around.
All right, Rob, thoughts, stars, and wishes.
Well, I feel like we were in the. It felt like we were already in the thick of it with the fighting, but now I think we're really in the thick of it with the panic. Stress is off the chart. Dr. Brundle's avoided most of it, so he's he's casual, but he's feeling overconfident. But it's good to see those parts of the system begin to kick in. I thought there's some really quick thinking from DK when Bex was being asked 2 different times on the med table there.
Yeah.
Just I was like, how are we going to explain this? And I thought there's some good nimble thought to make it as the least implausible as possible.
I get the feeling that this is not the first time Bex has lied to authority.
Right. It's a practice talent.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
All right.
I just wishes. We're putting these pieces together. I think that we're on an alien base with massively advanced VR running on top of it. So, and that's downloading whatever is Dr. Emma and bringing that along is a bit of a goal here. I think if we can rescue something from this station besides ourselves, it would be this artifact, this entity.
Very interesting. Very interesting and exceedingly dangerous, like a true scientist would be.
Take something potentially murderous off the base.
It's not a question if we can. It's a question if we should. DK.
Yeah.
Thoughts, stars, and wishes.
I guess my thoughts, now that alien tech is highly probable, I guess the reason is this an experiment? Is this slave labor, complacency? Is this, I don't know, a power source? Like, why us, and why these layers? Is it to keep us complacent, keep us working, or is there another goal? So that'll be interesting. I'm also having some thoughts in the back of my mind of, are we cool just abandoning, possibly a bunch of other people trapped in this situation? Is this something we can fix, get out of that decay? I don't know. There's a lot going on.
It's funny you say that, DK, because I think about it and I'm like, whoever zapped Eeyore could have easily zapped another crew, right? And the 4 of you would just be living your lives and Mergen's watch as it slowly is falling into this gas giant. It just happened to be the 4 of you, which I would imagine creates a pretty, especially somebody who has a more proletariat view of things, like, are we going to leave these people here? I think that's legit.
Yeah.
There's a moral quandary there for sure.
I don't think Bex has put quite enough thought into it, since being pretty self-centered about, not having my insides on the outside. But that is likely going to come up for Bex. But stars, I thought the Turing test was phenomenal. That was so in character and also really helpful for us to know. And Beck's trying to be very subtle about, I don't know, figure something out. The best I can do. So I'm glad that worked. But yeah, working that in the way you did, and I think that was definitely a star moment for me. Obviously, the cliffhanger at the end, I want to kill the captain. Also, we had some just good, true character moments too. And the Sarge glowering at the Robbies is I love how afraid they are of you. It just brings me joy. But wishes. I think I'm gonna enjoy kind of exploring that moral dilemma, but also trying to figure out something concrete is gonna be really helpful. I want to know. There are so many possibilities.
It's been my experience. It's funny you have a very similar observation that I did, DK, and I'm noticing it as I play a lot of games now and run a lot of games. And it really feels like there's something special that happens right around third and fourth session, which is where I feel like we as players really start to discover who our characters are, right? And it's not something that you can do before you start play. You can't write a 3-page backstory and do this. You really have to find it in play and how you interact with the world and how you interact with each other. And I think it happened this episode. I feel like I have a much better understanding of these 4 characters now, because I think the 4 of you have really started to discover exactly who they are. And I think that's so goddamn cool. All right. Last but not least, Miss Allie.
I'm having so much fun. I mean, at this point, I think that all of the, like, my conspiracy theory is that all of this stuff is being taken from and scrapped so that they can build more of these Robbies and build more. That's what I think it's being taken for.
So you don't think this is somebody trying to save the station? You think that this is being scrapped for evil?
I think that the previous attempts to try and save the station or leave have been quickly stamped out, given all of the dead bodies we're finding and the distress signals. So that's my conspiracy theory at this point for Allie. Stars. Craig, I love when we get ourselves into situations where we, like, as players, and kind of like looking at this as someone who has also run games, we get chaotic about like what we're looking for and what direction we're trying to go into, and we don't really know like where to move forward next. And you do such a good job of subtly giving us information that helps us make that decision without it feeling like you're putting us on a specific path. You're just presenting something and letting us discuss it so that we can go, okay, this is what we were looking for. So that now we can say, all right, let's go that way versus a different way.
I'm glad it feels that way, because I do feel a game master has an obligation of telling the players what the characters know, right? So, Rob is not an AI specialist, right? DK, I don't know you well enough to say this, but I will. I feel like Bex is a much better teamster than you are. And so I think it's important not to shove information down throats, right? And say, well, this is this and don't do that because you can't do that. But just reminding players, Sergeant Robles would know this, because that's the only way that you can be able to tap into that character knowledge. And hopefully the 4 of you also will remember that you can say to me, like, I don't think I would know this, Craig, but I think my character would. So don't be afraid to ask for that type of information as well. This is not so OSR where it's my players that are going to figure this out. It is these characters that are going to figure this out, being inhabited by you. So I'm glad it doesn't feel that way, Allie. That makes me very, very happy. What are you wishing for?
I hope we can get that shuttle bay open so we can get out of here. Allie understands the moral quandaries. Eeyore recognizes the human moral quandary, but Eeyore wants to protect Eeyore's friends at this point.
Totally get that. All right, so this coming Tuesday, Trophy Dark premieres on the channel. This is a phenomenal game. It is a play-to-lose Doom game published by The Gauntlet. Speaking of The Gauntlet, we have a guest GM that's going to be running it, which is Jason Cordova, who publishes Trophy Dark. So definitely want to catch this. We are walking into Tuesday with no characters, no idea who our adventurers are going to be. They're not called adventurers, they're called something else. But Jason has promised me that within minutes we are going to have fully fleshed treasure hunters. That's what they are, fully fleshed treasure hunters, and they're probably not going to come out alive because that's what happens in Trophy Dark. It's a play to lose game. I cannot wait to see this system in play because I've read it several times. I've not been able to fully wrap my head around it, which is why I reached out to Jason to run it for us. So we're going to do that two Tuesdays in a row. The first one you're not going to want to miss is this Tuesday. Wednesday, the day afterwards, we've got back to back. We are doing a one shot of the Crawling Chaos, which is a mechanically very interesting attempt at recreating Lovecraftian stories. There's going to be one narrator, just like in the books, and then all the Lovecraft stories. That's going to be me, the one player, and then I've got 4 GMs, and they are literally labeled the architects of my demise. And these 4 GMs are going to slowly, over a period of a couple hours, destroy me. But just like I was talking about with Trophy Dark, we are walking into it with, I don't know who my narrator is. I don't know what the setting is. I barely know anything about the architects, and it's got a phenomenal system for just pick up, grab, and let's start playing. So I'm looking forward to that. Thanks, y'all. See you in 2 weeks.
Howdy, friends. Thank you for watching. All our content is archived and organized in playlists on the Third Floor Wars YouTube channel. Check it out. And if you could like, follow, subscribe, and even set your notifications to this channel on YouTube and Twitch, we'd appreciate it, and it'll make sure that you catch all of our content. I talk with creators, designers, and experts across the gaming landscape in every episode of our podcast, Tabletop Talk. Open up your favorite podcatcher and search for Tabletop Talk from Third Floor Wars. Support your creators. They make the content you love, and it's your support that makes it happen. If you want to help us, go to Third Floor Wars on patreon.com, and you can help us for as little as $1 a month. Thanks again. We'll see you next time. Take care.